Hi everyone, it's Chris and I'm back today sharing a very short video using the new mini kit from Gina Designs called Stitched Leaves. This new mini kit is a fabulous new fall set. It has wonderful fonts and mix and match sentiments and all of these pretty leaves with all of this intricate veining, and they are just gorgeous. And today I have put together a very edited, very shortened video using watercolor paper to create a colorful background to use the dyes with. I am using the Fabriano Artistico 140-pound hot press watercolor paper. I like the hot press paper. It comes in a block and it's very smooth, so it works great for ink blending. And that's what I'm doing here. I have assembled a whole pile of very pretty fall colored Distress Oxide inks and my sponge blender, and I'm just randomly adding color to this watercolor paper. I've added one layer of color and spritzed it with water, and I'm gonna just dry it with my heat gun and watch those little speckles and spots and oxidized areas show up. And I'm adding a second layer of color, just kind of building up, filling in any spots, again, very randomly. I'm going to be die cutting leaves from this colorful paper, so I want a lot of variation in my paper. Again, I'm drying it, adding a little bit more water as I do so, and just watching that oxidization happen. It gets very creamy and kind of an aged look, and I just think it's really fun. Now, I want to add a little more color, and this time I am not going to add more water. I just want to add some vivid spots. I'm filling in some areas that were a little bit lighter than I'd liked, and then I'm going to be using this paper to create my die cuts. So because it's on the block, I have to remove it from the block first. So I found the corner where it is not adhered, and using my palette knife, I am just kind of slicing it from the block. This is a really nice heavy weight paper, and it makes some fabulous die cuts. So I'm going to be using the maple leaf die from the Stitched Leaves mini kit, and I'm just looking at placement. I'm going to be die cutting many out of this. I decided to save half of my sheet that I made, so I cut 7 die cuts from just half. I wanted a few pieces of this that were left larger so I could use them in different ways on my cards. So here are my 7 die cuts and the leftover piece that I will use after a bit. So now I'm going to add the veining. So I want to stamp on these die cuts. So first I want to save one little chunk of this, the negative. I'm going to just grab a scissor and I'm going to save one of those leaf, just the negative. So I'm just going to slice and save this corner. I'm going to be using my original MISTI, and I'm using the grid paper pad. And I've just placed my stamp randomly in the middle. I am going to ink that up. And then I'm going to place that negative that I saved around that inked image. This is going to be kind of my template for stamping on all of my die cuts. I'm going to use my magnets to hold that negative in place. And then I can just pop those die cuts in and stamp them all one by one. I'm choosing inks that I think coordinate with whatever color palette is available on my die cut. So just use a variety of inks. Just make sure that you clean your stamp between inking. So I'm using fresh asparagus, turquoise sea, I believe I use honey mustard, tomato soup, and I think I even used craft and maybe even purple. But I stamped all 7 of my die cuts, and then I used them in a variety of ways to make 7 cards. Aren't they pretty? Just the random colors that you get with the Distress Oxide inks. It's just a lot of fun. So here are some of the cards that I made with these die cuts that I've created. This one I added texture with a piece of burlap. Here I used both the skinny word die cut and the outline die cut right directly into my oxide paper. This one I used the maple leaf die to create a shaker window. With clear plastic and foam tape, I am adding beads to the interior. It's just a fun fall shaker card. Here I've used an embossing folder. I stamped on my card base and used a frame of metallic copper to match my word die. This next one is a simple one. It is the stitched square die as a background, and I used the friend word die to die cut just from my oxide paper. This one I stamped with the Distress Oxide on charcoal brown card base and added a strip of the leftover paper to match my leaf. And I have combined some of the older sets. This is Painted Autumn from last fall. Look at how pretty this maple leaf is right in the center of that circle frame. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, everyone.